What's up, everybody? Back again with another video, and today we're talking about the creative process, more specifically my creative process. We're going to discuss things that I go through before a shoot and during the shoot. So let's get into it. So it's always good to go into your shoot with some type of prep work, right? You don't want to go into these things blindly. That's just a recipe for disaster. So having some type of plan before you go into this, or we'll call this pre-production. So let's say you're contacted by a potential client and they want your style. So first things first, when you're corresponding with your client, you want to make sure that you ask them for any references, a mood board, any inspo, any ideas that they may have that will help you with the creative process for this shoot. Personally, I use Pinterest and Behance for the majority of my inspo, all of my mood boards. I spend some time before my shoot and I go through there, try to find inspiration, find things that are gonna help me build my ideas into a physical, into something I can reference while I'm shooting, something to have in mind that I can reflect on, just to help me with my shots, whether it be lighting, posing, staging product, props. I go through one of these sites, through an app, I save things into a folder, and then I take that stuff, throw it into Photoshop, and I build a mood board. And I present that to the client to show them how we're gonna go about this shoot. Now with that said, you'll have your mood board to go off of, or you may have built a shot list with all of your inspiration. Now you wanna use your references as a foundation to build off of. So remember, as a creative, the essence of what you do is typically found by thinking outside of the box. So you always want to keep that in mind. So I like to start with a blank slate. I start super simple with the product and some basic lighting. And that's just to kind of get things going, to get in the groove. I'll play with some angles. I'll use different lighting techniques, different modifiers, things like that, and see what I get. Now, one of the main things you want to keep in mind is the essence of the brand. You don't want to go on a tangent and just create anything, but at the same time, you don't want to restrict yourself and put yourself in a box to where there's no flow to your creative process. So you have to find that shade of gray in there where you can create freely, but you're still creating to maintain the brand's image. Now, if you're shooting a personal project, then there's no restrictions and you can do what you want. There's usually a point in my process where I'll just completely go off the rails with what I'm doing, just to break up what I'm doing and kind of bring in new ideas. For me, that's where the creative process really starts to flow, and that's when I start taking the shots that I really want. Don't be afraid to think outside of the box. This is where creatives thrive, right? This is where we find art, is when we're doing things that are out of the norm. You don't find art staying within these confined lines. So don't be afraid to experiment and test things out while you're shooting. Even though you might have your shot list and your mood board to go off of, don't feel like you can't step outside of that box and create something. This is where the art lives. Creatives aren't meant to be confined, right? So you have to find that shade of gray between what the client's asking for and all the things that you could possibly be doing, which is a pretty wide gap. So don't restrict yourself to your mood board or your shot list. Get what's needed and then experiment a bit. You're gonna create something. And this is where the gems are, right? These are the photos where you're having fun and you're really tapped into your style. This is the stuff that we want. This is the stuff that lands us our potential new clients. They see this somewhere in your portfolio and that's what's attracting to them. That's what's attracting them to you. Make sure that you go into your shoot with some type of plan, but don't be afraid of stepping outside of that to see what else you can find while you're shooting. So 3 tips to keep in mind when you're setting up for a shoot is: 1, have some type of plan, have a mood board or some type of reference to go off of for your shots. 2, don't put yourself in a box. Don't be so caught up on sticking to your shot list and your mood board where you don't attempt to think of anything outside of the box. 3, trust your creative instinct. Lead with the first thing that you think of. Do that idea. Take that idea to the plate and then tweak that and build off of that. Keep tweaking your lighting, make small changes to what you're doing. Most importantly, don't overthink it. And that's all we have for this video. Drop your links down in the comments so I could check out some of your guys' work. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Subscribe and turn on the notifications to make sure you don't miss the next video. Until next time, out.